From an igloo inside of an ancient city to a ladder that leads you down into the void, here are 43 crazy Minecraft seeds you thought were impossible. This Minecraft seed has 4 structures that combine, resulting in a lot of broken features. There's an outpost partially inside of the mansion, a village church that's been chopped in half, strange floating water that goes through windows, and even a floating chest. There's also a huge cavern underneath the mansion too. This seed has a witch hut that expands 45 blocks up into the sky. Have you ever seen a witch hut this high above the ground before? Grab yourself some lava from the ruined portal below and burn this thing to the ground. This seed has even more tall features with a windswept desert tower that has a village at the bottom, a desert temple, and an outpost in the middle. And right at the top, you can find more houses, an iron golem cage, and a ruined portal. This seed has a mine shaft that leads you right into the end portal room. Unfortunately, one of the portal frames are missing, so this one's going to be pretty useless. You probably shouldn't try and speedrun this one. This seed has a mansion that's partially submerged in water, and when you explore the inside of this mansion, you can see that there are quite a lot of leaks in the roof. On top of the mansion is a frozen aquifer with an outpost, and there's also a village here too. This seed has a shipwreck that has crashed into the side of a mansion on a beautiful stretch of dark oak coast. Break a few blocks, and this could be a really fun way to get in and out of your mansion. This seed spawns you on an island in the middle of a frozen ocean that defies the laws of physics. There's loads of floating ice and pieces of stone, and the top part of the island is being supported by just one single cobblestone pillar. This seed spawns you right next to half a shipwreck that is somehow parked on top of a pillager outpost. This could be a fun little starter base where you could take the pillagers by surprise from above. This seed spawns you on the shore of a Badlands lake where you can find sky-high aquifers, an abandoned village, a terrifying sinkhole, and even a woodland mansion. There's even a rare chance you can get the mansion to generate like this when loading up the seed, but I've only been able to replicate this once. This seed has an outpost temple village floating on the ocean near spawn, and if you blow up the temple's treasure room, you'll fall directly into an ocean monument. Bet you never thought you could fight guardians from a desert temple before. This seed also combines a village temple and outpost, but this time underneath the structures you can find a ruined portal. Just make sure none of these pillagers follow you into the nether. This seed has an igloo at the very bottom of a frozen ocean. If you head down the ladders into the igloo's basement, you'll actually just find half of a basement. And if you don't hold on tight, you'll drop straight into the void. This seed spawns you in front of a mansion on the edge of a mangrove swamp. If you dig underneath the mansion's sapling room, you can find a treasure room from a desert temple. You never know what you'll find under mansions these days. This seed has an exposed end portal room attached to an ocean monument. Good luck making it to the portal while fighting off the guardians. This seed has a windswept village at spawn that combines with a pillager outpost, a ruined portal, and a desert temple. Challenge yourself to see if you can jump into the treasure room from the windswept houses above. This seed spawns you in a beautiful dark forest mountain range with crazy structures. Head to the nearest mountain and you'll spot a pillager outpost that's trying to hide inside of a woodland mansion. This seed spawns you next to a lake with one of the largest sinkholes you'll ever see in Bedrock Edition. Stand on the floating block of gravel and just imagine all the things you could fill this hole with. This seed has a stunning lake surrounded by cherry grove and mixed forest. In the middle of that lake, you can find a village, a levitating chunk of stone, and ocean monument. The village's path is even lower than the top of the monument. This seed spawns you next to a shipwreck, a pillager outpost, a desert temple, and a ruined portal that have all decided to try and generate in the same place. If you can survive the pillagers, you'll have plenty of loot to kickstart your adventure in this one. This seed spawns you underneath a super tall outpost and a basement igloo that is entirely exposed. This is probably the most exposed igloo basement that you'll ever see. There have been a few pillagers falling off here. Let's hope the igloo doesn't fall too. This seed has a really cool cave under a village island by spawn, but unfortunately, this seed has another broken end portal. This time, the portal has been totally engulfed by an ancient city. Ah well, you win some, you lose some. This seed has another amazing lake with an outpost, village, and ruined portal all meeting in the middle. There's also a small sinkhole, and if you look up, you'll see a waterfall crashing down from a small segment of stone high up in the sky. This seed has a jungle temple underneath a woodland mansion. Luckily, the temple is still fully intact, so you can still grab yourself some treasure and maybe even set up a base in the mansion's cobble before you plan your raid. This seed has an igloo inside of an ancient city. Now that's a structure combination I never thought I'd be showing you. It's probably got something to do with them both being submerged in a giant lake, and on the lake's surface, you can also find an outpost and a village. This seed has a tiny sinkhole that contains an upside down shipwreck. Whoever was sailing this thing must have taken a wrong turn somewhere. This seed has an incredibly tall pillager outpost alongside an abandoned zombie village that spirals up this crazy windswept terrain. Pillagers and zombie villagers high above the clouds? Yeah, I think I'll stay down here on the ground. This seed has another ocean outpost village with a crazy sky platform high above the clouds. This time you're able to jump from the sky platform and splash into an ocean monument that sits right underneath the village. This seed has a pillager outpost that is generated inside of a woodland mansion. The outpost has opened up a large square window in the mansion, giving the pillagers an amazing view of the surrounding meadows, forests, and rivers. This seed has another 5-structure cluster. There's a savannah village, a fully intact shipwreck, an outpost, a ruined portal, and a desert temple. The temple has broken 2 of the houses. One of the houses has been taken over by the netherrack, and there's 6 allays to rescue too. This seed spawns you in a birch village where another outpost can be found partially inside of a mansion. But there's another structure inside the mansion too. There's a church buried in that cobble that you probably won't have noticed if it wasn't for the stained glass windows. This seed has a mansion village where 5 of the houses have generated underneath the mansion, and this mansion is full of even more structures. There's also a ruined portal and a pillager outpost that you'd never know existed if you didn't explore the mansion. This seed has a stronghold and a huge mushroom island. Something strange has happened in the end portal room. The end room is full of oak planks, thanks to a mineshaft colliding with the end portal that, thankfully, still works. This seed has a large badlands lake where a mansion, a village, and sinkhole meet in the middle. Jump into that sinkhole and you can find a part of the village floating underneath the mansion, as well as an exposed fossil at the very bottom. This seed has a desert village on the edge of a mangrove with a jungle temple and a pillager outpost. And right at the bottom of the outpost, you can actually walk through one of the houses into a ruined portal room under the outpost. This seed gives us another amazing mansion village super close to spawn. This time, some allays have given us a secret entranceway into the back of the mansion. Wander in and you'll spot another outpost entirely inside of the mansion. This seed has to be one of the most beautiful lakes you'll ever see. Head to the middle of the lake to find an outpost that extends down into the sinkhole with a geode that could make a really fun base. There's also some allays that need rescuing too. This seed has another incredible lake, this time in an eroded badlands. There's a woodland mansion and a village with a house destroyed by the mansion, and even a house inside one of the badlands spires. There's even a broken shipwreck and another outpost inside the mansion. This seed has possibly the tallest desert temple you will ever see right at spawn. At the bottom, you can find houses inside of the sandstone, and if you reach beyond the clouds, you'll find an outpost and a ruined portal inside of the temple. This seed has a mansion inside of a swamp. Head inside the mansion and start tearing up the carpet. Chop some wood, and then with a little mining, you'll discover a witch hut that was buried underneath the mansion. This seed has a village with an extra long exposed basement igloo which is hanging from a floating forest island in the sky. At the bottom you can find a ruined portal that has broken open the igloo's basement. This seed has a mansion that extends deep down into a frozen ocean. If you can somehow make it to the bottom of the ocean, you'll find an igloo with a ladder that once again leads you into the void. This seed spawns you next to a beautiful island for building on. There's a structure combination that you really won't believe. Under another crazy skyblock, you'll find an outpost and a shipwreck that have both generated inside of a mansion. This has caused 3 different fence types to all join together, and there's even a pillager who thinks he's captain of the ship. This seed spawns you in the craziest windswept village you'll ever see. From top to bottom, in every direction, and even on floating islands, you can find different parts of the village. There's also a ruined portal, an igloo that is literally levitating, and a super tall outpost where the pillagers look after a wheat farm at the very top. Let us know which of these seeds you thought was the craziest, and if you enjoyed, please drop a like and a comment. If you want to check out even more amazing Minecraft seeds, click the next video.